Hey, how you doing out there in YouTube land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. And today, Juno and I, well, we just want to have a discussion with y'all. Just want to sort of hang out. And the reason why is because I haven't bought anything, new knives or anything recently. You know, it is Christmas time. I'm getting ready to buy Christmas presents and put my budget towards that this month. But I still want to hang in there with y'all and have a little conversation with y'all. After giving it some serious thought, these are knives that are all out of my box, my rotation drawer, for this year that I carry back and forth to work. The only one that I didn't carry back and forth to work, I did one day, but that was about it, was this one. But I have carried this one other places, like on the motorcycle. And this one hasn't gotten too much time at work either because of the weight of it. And I have carried, but I still have carried it a lot. But I just want to talk about these knives because these are my favorites for this year. These are the ones I absolutely liked the most and I carried the most. And I don't know, they held up very well. They didn't have pivot issues. They didn't have problems with centering and I don't know, all the different issues that, you know, often pocket knives have. All these knives performed exceptionally well. There's Juno. Joining the show here. Yes, my sweetie. Want to say hi to everybody, sweetie? Yes, my girl. Okay, kiddo. Gotta get down. Gotta get down. That's my girl. Let's come over here. Come up here. That's my girl. Okay, so these are all the knives that I really enjoyed over this past year. And I just want to pass it on to you in case you're interested in any of them. I'm letting you know that these are exceptionally good knives. And I would highly recommend each and every one of them. And let's start off with the cold steels. And the reason why this one's on the table because it's one of my favorite new knives for this year. And the reason why it's one of my favorite new knives is that I have the older versions of this. And I never really got into them. You know, I carried them both, you know, a few times or whatever, but I never really got into them. But since I got this one, I had to get two of these, and this is the one I've carried. I've carried it a lot on like motorcycle rides and stuff like that. It's a great knife. And I hope Cold Steel continues to make these, but I would like to see a version that's not a Lindsey Thompson version. It's cool to have the collectors, but I also like just having a regular plain edge user also, but I want the full flat ground blade. I love the way this blade is made. I think this is an exceptionally beautiful knife with the thick G10 contoured G10 handle scales, no steel liners in it. It's made like an old school cold steel knife. This is one of my favorites for this year. Favorite cold steel triads. That's the category I put this in. Favorite cold steel triads for this year. The new Lindsey Thompson Spartan. As you can see, it's been carried a lot because it's broken in. At first, these aren't as fidgety. You have to use them and carry them and fidget with them and play with them. Let's leave them open, huh? Matter of fact, I see a lot of fingerprints on this blade. Let's wipe it off. All right. Four and a half inch blade. It's got the Spartan Copus handle and the Copus style blade. I know people compare this to the like the Raja and the Nepalese kukri type blade, but actually the Copus blade is much older than the Nepalese kukri. When the Copus was about, Nepal didn't even exist. The Copus goes back to the time before Christ. It's an ancient style blade. So if anything's made from anything, maybe the kukri is a descendant of the Copus. That's not the ancestor. This was the Greeks' blade. And often they were long. They were long like a sword, but they still had the same shape. And this is supposed to be like the tip of a kopis sword. Absolutely love these people. Awesome. The Spaten. And the kopis handles were made often like this too, where they totally engulfed your hand so you couldn't lose your grip. The 300, the Spatens. It's got S35V, S35VN blade, CPM S35VN blade, powdered steel. And this one I included, even though this is not a new model for this year, but it is a model that I continuously buy because I could always want to have this in my rotation drawer. That's one reason why I have so many. Because I always try to have a new rotation drawer, so that means I can't have the old knives from last year in it. If I want another Recon 1 in my rotation drawer, because this is one of my most favorite of all time knives to carry all the time, I have to buy another one, and that's what this one is. It replaced the XHP version. But I love the Recon 1, people. I don't care what version you get it in. I prefer the Tontos, but I don't care what version you get it in. I think it's an awesome, 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 awesome knife. And I would highly recommend it. Any knife person would love to have a Recon 1 for a gift. Any real knife person, anyway. Next from Cold Steel. The Recon 1 has a DLC coated blade, and CPM S35VM blade steel, American G10 handle scales, made like the Spartan. It's just thick G10 handle scales. No steel in the handle. This one also has the Snaggletooth MF wave device on it, Snaggletooth on it. And that's the aluminum one. I like the aluminum ones. And this is another one of my favorite new knives for this year. I think this knife is super awesome. It's one of the most fidgety triad locks I've ever held and used in my entire life. It is super fidgety. Which one is this? This is the 8010 with the Tonto blade, the new Tonto blade for this year. Again, this one's been carried a lot, so it's got lots of usage on it. It's one of my favorite knives. And my other 8010s, you know, I carried them for a little bit, but I didn't carry them intensively. I've carried this one a lot since I've owned it. I absolutely love this knife. I do wish they'd come up with a smaller looking pocket clip. That's the only thing I don't like about this knife is the pocket clip. I don't like big, bogus, giant billboard saying that pocket clips will say, look at my pocket, there's a knife in it. I don't like pocket clips like that. I like pocket clips that conceal the knife, not display it. Nobody needs to know I have a pocket knife or anything on my person. Nobody does. That's why I like pocket clips that are more hidden. I like pocket clips like this. Black ones, deep carry. And if not deep carry, then the whole knife has to be blacked out, so it doesn't stand out. This one, this would be an okay pocket clip if it was black and all the hardware was black. That'd be okay, because then it'd be more like this. I've been carrying these for years. I never had problems with people noticing it. But that is like a big billboard sign saying, look, I got a big, giant, heavy-duty knife, because you're not going to have a big, giant pocket clip like that for a little knife. I hope not, anyway. So you got a big, heavy-duty knife in your pocket. So, and sometimes, you know, like where I live, that's not always the best thing to let people know. Because there's a lot of sheeple where I live. So I think it's always best to be discreet. Absolutely love this one. This knife is just fun. I mean, and it's super strong. There's no blade wobble, wiggle, or anything at all in it. It is just a fun knife. I think this is just an awesome, awesome knife. It's got a 3.5-inch blade made out of CPM S35VN blade steel. I think it's a 3.8 millimeter blade. This one is a 3.5, and this one's a 4 point something. I think it's like 4.5 or 4 point. I think it's a 4.5 or something millimeter, or 4.8, something like that. It's a little bit thicker. But this is an awesome knife. It's got heat-treated aluminum liners. I polished the liners in this one. This is my personal knife. I carry this. So it's got the polished liners, and I polished the bronze phosphor washers. Absolutely love it. Excellent knife, people. And this is another new one, the Atlas Lock. The Atlas Lock. To me, it's a lot like the 8010. Just a little bit more compact, but the blade length is exactly the same. But it is more compact. But because it's more compact doesn't mean it's lighter weight, though. They're both heavy knives. So I'll let you look at the line up the blades to blade. See, this one looks like it's a little bit longer, but it's not. They're both they're both 3.5-inch blades. That's where the lining up is. And they both have the same thickness of blade, 3.8 millimeter. So they're both very stout blades. And this one's a flat ground blade. This one's a hollow ground blade. I love this one. Out of the two, I would take the 8010 Tonto knife. Number one, I'm just a triad person. I mean, so there's a preference there, because I like triad locks. I have ever since they've existed. I love triad locks. But the Atlas Lock is fun too. But I noticed one thing on mine, though, is that I developed a little bit of, just a tiny bit. And I don't know if it's going to get worse if I keep playing with it or if I should leave it alone. I know on Gideon's tactical, he did some batoning with his, and he messed up his. He put a whole lot of up and down plate in it after he got done doing that. Me, I have just fidgeted with it and use it for food prep and daily cutting chores like that. But I have played with it a lot because it's a fun knife to play with. Just like, very similar to the Shark Lock. I'm gonna put it out there. That's the truth. Of all the locks that are on the market, it's more similar to the Shark Lock than any other lock. But it's a beautiful knife. And I've totally taken it apart. It's totally been polished. Polished the liners. You know how I do. And this one's got a little bit different setup because it's got the Teflon washer against the stainless steel frame, polished stainless steel frame, and the bronze phosphor washers against the blade tang. Usually Cold Steel would always put the bronze phosphor washer against the stainless steel liner and the stainless steel or aluminum liner, whichever it was, and then they put the Teflon washer against the blade tang. This one they did it the opposite way. Just something I noticed. I thought I'd put it out there. But yeah, this one's been all polished. It's been through my polishing and stuff. This just developed a little tiny bit of a up and down blade play. Not enough for me to not like this knife or not to recommend it. And I think it might be because, I don't think it's because I deformed anything. I think it's because the spring is wearing down a little bit. And I've had the same thing happen to me with my 80-20.5s. Because after a while the spring wears down if you constantly play with them like I do. and you have to go get another packet of springs. You get them at you can get them at the Knife Center. Knife Center has the real Demco springs. You can also get them on eBay or whatever, but I think those are coming from China. And so I don't know, the quality of them is. But I've purchased the Demco ones from Knife Center. And they're really cheap. They're not expensive. You get like 3 springs for $5 or something like that. I think this one might need a new spring. The reason why I say that is because when I push forward on the lock bar, there's no blade play. None at all. It's like a fixed blade. But when I take my finger off of it, there's a little tiny bit of blade play. And I think that's because the spring, you know, it's not, and I tried stretching the spring and it worked for a little bit, but then it went back to it because I think the spring is either needs to be a little bit stronger, you know, because maybe they made the spring the tension on the spring a little bit too light because they're trying to make it easy for people to operate. But maybe this spring needs to be a little bit stronger because it is real easy to operate. So, you know, I think the springs were out, you know, if you keep playing with it all the time, you know, that's probably the part that will wear out is the spring. I don't think there's any deformation because I've taken it apart and totally looked at it. I couldn't find anything that looks wrong with this knife. Nothing looks deformed. I think it's the spring, people, that's worn down a little bit. So if you have that little bit of an issue, you might want to call Cold Steel or whatever. I haven't been that worried about it because it's not that big of a deal. It's not that much of a blade play thing for me to be that worried about it. But I just want to put it out there that does exist. Okay, next up. This one, these are some of my new most favorite knives of the year. I have carried these Baglighter XLs probably just as much as I've carried my 80-20s and 80-20.5s. 80-20s and 80-20.5s. I absolutely love these knives. They're like a perfect work knife for me. I love the size of them. I like this 3.9-inch blade. I absolutely love the ingot steel that they use, the 154 cm. Classic, awesome super steel for, you know, back in the 90s it was a super steel. It was considered, you know, like one of the great top of line steels. And I've always liked a 154 cm. It holds a good edge and it's not too hard to resharpen. And it's American steel. Absolutely love it. Okay, June, I have to get you down, sweetie. I have to get you down, kiddo. That's my girl. Give me kisses. Okay, kiddo. But it's an absolutely awesome steel, and I love the micarta. These are, I don't know if they call them black or gray. It's sort of like they turn black if they get like oil or moisture on them. They look black, but when they're dry, they look like that. They have sort of like a worn look. And I love the black stonewash blade. And I love the way that Kaiser puts their markings on their blades too, and they put all their labeling on the blades. Me myself, I like seeing the blade labeling on the blade because I like to, if I have the knife for 5 or 6 years and go to pull it out, I want to be able to look at it and figure out what kind of steel it is. And if there's a blade marking on it, it says 154 cm. That's all I need. And this AZO, A-Z-O. And I can see that this is an A, a Z, and an O. That's his insignia right there, it's marking. I was saying Anzo before, it's AZO, AZO. And he's a knife designer that works for Kaiser, at the Kaiser plant. That's what I found out about him. Absolutely love these though. So I guess I like AZO designs. It's got 2mm thick liners, stainless steel liners. They've been coated. I think it's PVD coating. All blacked out hardware. A folded D-carry pocket clip that works perfectly great. Perfect. Everything about this knife is awesome. It's easy to manipulate this knife with either your left or right hand, whether you're left-handed or right-handed. Next up is the one that I modified. I turned it into Purple Rain, and this one's been in my pocket ever since. This one's been in my pocket. It went to work with me today, yesterday, and the day before. This has been my #1 knife to carry to work. I absolutely love the Purple Rain. Absolutely love it. I like the 3.2mm 154 cm blade, full flat ground blade. Or I guess you would call this like a real high flat ground because it does have a little flat up here at the top. So it'd be like a super high saber or a super high flat ground, but not a full flat ground. It does have a little bit of a flat. Just a little tiny part of a flat. It's really a flat ground blade. Absolutely love it. Highly, 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 highly recommend it. And for the cost of these, I think they're a steal because you get an awesome steel. 154 cm is an awesome steel. You're getting thick stainless steel liners. This is not a cheap, wimpy knife. It's a very well-built knife. I've taken it apart, showing you guys what it looks like on the inside. And also something about this one, just to let you all know, I found some bearings I think are going to work, and they're coming from Skiff. And they should be here sometime this week, and I'll do another Skiff bearing install video of it, see if they fit. I don't know for sure if they're going to fit, but I have a funny feeling they're going to fit because I think they're the right size. To find out if I was right or not. No guarantees that they're going to work, but I'm going to try them. Because this knife with Skiff bearing, this knife is awesome already. It's got double roll bearing, ceramic bearings that are encased in nylon cages, which is cool, but I'd rather have the bronze phosphor cages like Skiff bearing makes. You know, the bearings I'm getting from Skiff are also double row bearings with a 6mm pivot, and I think they have 18 bearings, double row bearings. What you pulling on over there, kiddo? I absolutely love Purple Rain, and this one's a G10 one. Originally, this had white G10 handle scales, and I dyed them with Rit synthetic royal purple dye. I let them sit in the dye for 15 minutes. Every few minutes, 5 or 6 minutes or whatever, I would like stir them or whatever, just to see how dark they were getting. And the first few minutes, they looked really light, and I wanted them to be like dark, like almost like a, like a royal purple, like a real dark purple. That's what the kind of purple I like. And that sort of looks like kind of bluish, but these are really purple. I love the way that these came out. This is one of my favorite knives now. And this is I think that you can get these for like $90 at White Mountain Knives. Normally they go for $94. They're on sale right now. And this one you can get, it's exactly the same thing, only it's coated with black. And you can get this one for $85. This one's actually less expensive than this one for some reason. I think this one should probably be more expensive than this one. Why? Because it's got micarta. It's got a black stonewash blade, so it's got extra finishes on it. But this one's the cheapest one, $85. And if you use the LTK, Love Them Knives discount, LTK, you get a 10% discount, which will bring like $9 off of it. And so if you get one for $90, it becomes like $81, I think it was. That's how much I paid for this one. It was $81. White Mountain Knives. Absolutely love these. Definitely some of my most favorite knives I like to carry right now. Absolutely love the Bag Lighter XL. The Bag Lighter, I know I was calling it the Bag Lighter 2 before also. Actually, it's the Bag Lighter XL. They got lint in the pocket clips. Just shows you that I carry them, people. That's all that shows. But I love the size of these. And like these next ones here, like this is the Assassin XL. I like this one too, but since I've gotten Purple Rain, it's been sitting in the box. I'm being truthful. Why? Because I just like the longer blade. But this is an excellent knife too. One from Kaiser. This is called the Assassin XL. It's another one out of the ones that I've tried out this year that I think is really, stands out amongst the others a little bit. And what I mean by that is I'm going by fit and finish and what I feel like is quality. I love this. I love this. I think this is called the OD green or green canvas micarta. I think it's a canvas micarta. I'm pretty sure this is like a linen micarta. From what I know, a little bit I know about micartas. And this one looks more like a canvas micarta. But I absolutely love the way this knife is made. Kaiser makes an awesome button lock or plunge lock. Awesome knife. Next one up is one of the ones that got me into all these new button locks and stuff like that. And this is the one that I got for this year. And this one I got this year, and I decided I wanted to polish it because I love the way polished Damascus looks. I polished an artisan knife, Damascus knife, and I just love the way it looks. I love that some knives you want them to be a little bit, the blades to be a little bit flashier and shinier, and that's what this one is. Absolutely love it. Polished Damascus. This is 9CR Damascus. And it holds the edge very well. I've only sharpened it once, and I've used it a ton of times. And the sharpener, I put a polished edge on it. I think it was either like 17 or 18 degrees or something like that. Let me see, I can't remember. It might be 20. See, it's in between 17 and 20 degrees. That's what it looks like to me. And my work sharp. Absolutely love this knife. Another great knife that doesn't cost a lot. These are like $70 or $80 also. This is Civivi, and it's called the Conspirator. It's got 3.5-inch blade. This Assassin. This one has a 154 cm blade. Another knife with great steel. 3.5-inch blade. But the thing I like about the Conspirator a little bit more than I like about the Assassin, it's lighter. This one's very light. It's got micarta handle scales. I'm pretty sure this is more like a linen micarta handle scale. All blacked out hardware. I took the pocket clip off because I like to carry this inside my jacket pockets. I don't carry it inside my, my pants pocket. But this one's a little bit heavier because I think Kaiser just makes things more heavy duty. I know the liners and everything always look thicker to me. What do you guys think? I know the Bag Lighter XL has 2mm thick liners. That's a thick liner. Gives a nice strength though. You know what I mean? Gives a nice knife a lot of good strength. Next up, this is the one I customize from Original Goat Parts. As y'all know, I have a bunch of 8020S. I think I have like 5 of them. And these are my 2 favorite ones. The other ones are pretty much all titanium ones. I think I have like 2 titanium ones. And I have another one with that I modified with Original Goat Parts. But these are the ones I like. These are the ones I've carried a ton of times. I've carried this one, I don't even know how many times. Absolutely love this knife. It's one of my favorite all-time knives. And it's going to be hard not to have it in my box next year. In my everyday rotation drawer. Because it's absolutely one of my favorite knives to carry. And it's got the solid aluminum scales from Original Goat. And this pattern, I think it was called, I want to say it's like OG1 or something. I don't think it's the shark's tooth. I think it's like OG1 or something. I can't remember the name of the pattern. But it also has their back spacer. Absolutely love it. This is a D2 blade. It's one of the original 8020S's. With the D2 blade. This one here is one I got off of eBay. And it had some issues. So I contacted John Demko at Demko Knives. I wasn't intentionally trying to contact him. I was just contacting Demko Knives customer support and trying to get some help. And John Demko responded to me in emails. I told him what my issue was. He told him to send him a knife. That's what I did. All right, sweetie, you gotta get down, kiddo. You gotta get down, kiddo. All right. This is absolutely one of my favorite knives, too. This one, after I got this one back, I started carrying this one more than I carried this one. Why? Because I just like the story behind this one. I like the way John Demko treated me. And, you know, this was originally a yellow knife. It had yellow grivery scales. And I told John Demko that, you know, I asked him if he had any orange scales, orange either grivery or G10 scales. He told me that he makes the G10 scales, and that he can hook me up with a set of orange ones. So these are ones that John Demko made, these scales. And so for me, knowing that he handmade them for me and put this knife together for me and repaired the issue that was on it, he put a new shark's fin on it because the other shark's fin was worn out or had some issues. This blade was originally sharpened by Apostle P. It's got a mirror finish on it. So it's super sharp. But after he did that, I just loved the story. It just made me love this knife. And it's probably become one of my favorite Demko knives. Absolutely love it. And I have a lot of, I don't know, about 10 of these and 5 of these. So I have several, then I have a whole bunch of cold steel Demko knives. But I have a lot of Demko, I don't have I don't have Demko customs, but I have a lot of knives that he either designed or like this one with John put together, and from the company. So I'm pretty happy with my collection of Demko knives. This one's got lint in it too. Same thing with this one. But I absolutely love these knives. Both of these knives are D2. Both of these are the old style Demko knives. Absolutely love these. And I absolutely recommend the Original Goat products because I've customized a lot of knives with the Original Goat products, and their products work. They absolutely work. Last but not least, these are 3.5-inch blades also, and they're 3.2 or 3 millimeters, 3.3 or 3.2 millimeters thick. Totally ambidextrous knives. Super easy to use. You could use a thumb stud. You can reverse finger flip. To me, these are the most fidgety knives. Out of all of them. And the shark lock is a strong lock. That's another thing that's a big plus about it. Whereas like this knife is awesome, but a Plunge-Lock is not the strongest lock. That's another thing I sort of want to put out there for you guys too. Is that, the people who make these knives and stuff, I don't know if you guys are seeing this video or see any of it, but it'd be awesome. Plunge-Locks are really awesome. They don't have patent issues and stuff like that. Everybody can make them. But it'd be really awesome if somebody would make a heavy-duty Plunge-Lock knife. And I don't mean to make the knife, weigh a lot. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about making the Plunge-Lock components heavy-duty. Make a button that has a plunger that's super heavy-duty, with stop pins that are heavy-duty, and all that. I think that would be awesome. Because I think this knife could be built real strong, too. One thing I noticed about the CJRB Plunge-Lock, where they got the blade tank pretty much all the way covered by the plunger, I think that looks like a really strong way to do it. But I think the components need to be built stronger and more hefty, though, because it's still a very lightweight knife. So it's not. I wouldn't expect the knife to actually be all that super strong or anything. But I think the way that they made that lock, they designed it, I think it could be very strong. I think it has some potential. This one right here, these knives are some of my most carried knives also. I absolutely love the 80 20.5. Both the ones I carry have the Oz 10A blade. Japanese AUS 10A blade steel. One's carbon fiber. These are Demko scales, John Demko scales. And the other one's G10. This is Natural J G10. I think I accidentally called it Grivery in a video, but it's not Grivery. This is G10. I'm not a fan of Grivery. Usually, if I get something with Grivery handle scales, and if somebody is making scales for them, I will usually replace the Grivery handle scales, because I do not like Grivery handle scales. I love G10. G10, micarta, or carbon fiber, some kind of fancy carbon fiber or something, that's cool. But I pass on the G10. Carbon fiber is the lightest material. And that's one thing that makes this knife one of my favorites to carry, other than it's all blacked out and that nobody notices it. But it's super light, super light. These have 3-inch blades. And these are my favorite 3-inch blade knives because I could get a full 4-finger grip on it. Andrew Demko, that's right. Andrew Demko knows how to make a handle. He knows how to design a handle. Andrew and John are awesome. I love pretty much everything that they've ever created. I pretty much really like, as far as pocket knives are concerned. Some of them are like too heavy and too bulky for me to want to carry, but I still like to own them and collect them because they're just made so strong and beautiful. All right, people. I'm going to put this one out there for you guys tonight. Today is December 5th, Monday, December 5th. All these little pocket knives got linen stuff in them from my pockets. my torn up cold steel pockets in my jeans. Absolutely love them. Why don't you guys tell me what your favorite ones for this year are? These are my favorites for this year. These are the ones I like the best out of all my knives I tried out this year. I like these the best. This one's not my favorite to carry because it's big and it's heavy and all that. But I love this knife, and I do like to carry it sometimes. This one I like to carry. If I could only have one knife, I would probably pick this one. What? You picked that over your 8020S models and all the other knives? Yep. Why? Because I've been carrying these for, I don't know, 10, 12 years, something like that. I absolutely love them. They're lightweight. They only weigh like 5 ounces. They're super strong. We've all seen the videos on these. These are super strong knives. Just like the Spartan's a super strong knife. And they're lightweight and they're big. They're a great self-defense folder. And they're also, great for everyday, utility uses. Whereas these, I don't know how strong the lock is. I know that these are probably very strong, but I don't know how strong. I know how strong this is. I've never seen any weight hang tests or what do you call them, spine whack tests. I haven't seen any of that for this knife. So I don't actually know how strong it is. So that's the reason why I got to go with that like that. All right, people. And that's about all I got for you. Like I said, today is December 5th, 2022. I just felt like it was good. I just felt like staying in contact with you all because I haven't been buying any new knives. I've been buying Christmas gifts and getting ready to play Santa Claus for Christmas. So, getting ready to do all of that. And my budget's been kind of tight this year because I had some car repairs. I had to help out my daughter. Some things going on. So I need to just concentrate on Christmas right now. Getting that together for my family. It's a big family thing for my family, Christmas time. But anyway, people, hope everybody's doing good. Peace. Stiletto.